Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Fortnightly Frontier, or should I say this fortnight's episode of Fortnightly Frontier, because that's what the name means. I
Sometimes.
am your host, Sometimes, yes. I am your host, Darjanator, and over there is my co-host with a very cool mug, drinking out of a very cool mug, Myre. And today we have quite a show for you. At least I hope so, because we're talking about survival mechanics, something that we've only theorized before in Star Citizen, but with the latest Star Citizen Con presentation, we actually got a glimpse of something they're working on.
That's right. Finally, we have some proper concrete evidence of proper survival mechanics that are coming in very soon. And for now, I mean, what kind of survival mechanics do they have? But I guess first, you want to explain to the audience what we mean by survival mechanics?
All right, survival mechanics being activities you have to engage in to survive that doesn't exactly mean dodging bullets.
That's right.
So heat, cold, food, thirst. Some games actually go as far as, to include sanity, those horror survival games.
I hate the sanity survival mechanic. It's never done well, and you can never really kind of it's just never done well.
Yes, pooping, as Hasga, I mentioned in chat. Scum has pooping.
Scum has
colon control, I believe.
Gotta do your Kegels.
Is the term.
And vitamin control as well.
Oh, vitamin control, yeah. Those, we could compare it with those in a bit. But to confirm, what do we have in Star Citizen? Well, what are we getting in Star Citizen?
Well, in CitizenCon, they showed off, I guess, the active status system, and cold was what they showed, right? So cold survival.
Cold, right. And because they now are generating planets by using the temperature and humidity factors, that could then easily be translated into what those conditions would do to the human body, but maybe not just the human body. Do you think? Okay, let's first focus on the human body, and then we'll expand it. So, wind, temperature, and humidity. So if you have just temperature, that is one thing.
Okay.
That is something I'm really excited about, because they're going in this way, which I'm trying to allude to. It's not just cold, but with the addition of humidity and wind, that they also are simulating convection of heat, not just, if you are in a vacuum of space, if you have just a fishbowl around your head so you can breathe, so you don't die of suffocation first, you would radiate your heat out slowly, because vacuum is a good insulator. So you're only using your heat through radiation. But on a planet where you have an atmosphere, or even worse, if you fall into a pool of ice cold water, or conversely into a really hot spring, convection is a much more efficient way of adding or removing heat from a system. So that is why it's a very long wind up to my point. This is why you can just survive in space in a flimsy little undersuit. But if you went into a microtech blizzard, where the apparent temperature can drop as low as minus 120 degrees Celsius, which is, temperature and wind and humidity, basically wind chill, that's not going to cut it.
On microtech also, the the atmospheric pressure is also 1.1 atmospheres because of some sort of like terraforming accident. So
Right.
that
So
would
that
mean
actually also increases convection. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Which is probably why it gets so cold there.
Yeah, could be.
Mm.
Uh, but so something I'm also excited about is we're getting a cold survival suit once we
We are,
get
yeah.
this cold survival. We're not getting it in 3.8, I should mention. We're only getting it in 3.9. That has
Really?
been confirmed. They're only this new addition to the actor status system with temperatures. Yeah.
So yeah, the addition, but what about the gear itself?
The gear itself, it so 3.8 is in Wave 1 PTU now, and in the previous patch, which was K, I think that was the first one that went live. If you went into the armor shop at Port Tressler, they had the survival suit on the rack. You couldn't buy it, unfortunately. You could look at it. You could put it on. And if you bought the CitizenCon digital goodies pack, you could also
Wear it.
wear it. Well, you already got it. You got a special skin for it, but it's gone now. I don't know what happened.
Really? It's gone this patch? This patch
It's
coming?
gone. It's gone 3.8.0 L. Yeah, it's
Okay.
gone.
All right.
I don't know if the CitizenCon one is gone, but the one on the mannequins at Port Tressler is.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, like, I know that in J, the subscriber one was there, but it was bugged. You couldn't, like, the head wouldn't render when you went in third person, so you were headless. And, you know, the legs didn't render either. You just had, like, the undersuits. Just, like, one
in
big chest.
K it worked.
Okay.
I watched Salty Mike stream because I don't have it, so I watched this. Yeah, I watched Salty Mike stream.
Yeah.
Or was it Paul? Anyway, it probably both. Yeah, it currently works in a way that the chest piece comes with the helmet, so it's not like we saw during the armor presentation at CitizenCon, where it was a separate helmet, or during the actual presentation where he put the suit on separately and then opened another box and grabbed the helmet and put it on.
Yeah.
Currently, the way it works is that the helmet, which is a really just specific helmet for that suit, you can't wear it with something else, it's actually part of the chest piece, and you could put another helmet on underneath.
Yeah.
It doesn't render, but if you want chat, for instance, you have to put another helmet on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not ready. That's why
yeah.
it's not.
I guess that's why they removed it, because it's not ready. Yeah. But yeah, also the reflections on the inside were atrocious. It's basically like walking with a window pane in front of your face and having all the what are they called? Cube maps. All the cube maps reflecting at 100% all the time.
Right. I mean, I guess it's not
gross.
There, it's kind of gross, but it's almost intentional as well, because at the end of the day, you don't want people wearing the cold survival suit all the time, everywhere. It defeats the object.
But you still want the reflections to be somewhat realistic. You know, it's basically the same bug as with the canopies, you know, reflecting through your ship, you know, the cube map around you. It's specifically, especially bad in the Saber around Port Olisar.
Yeah.
Because all you're getting is those rings and the reflections, nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, same issue. Yeah.
It looks interesting, and
it does.
Obviously,
I wonder what sort of what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Debuffs it will come with. Like, you're a lot slower walking speed. You're not able to run maybe at all, or not able to equip weapons maybe, because it is a really bulky thing. It's, you know, I imagine it's also very heavy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there were limitations like that, honestly, because it needs to be a niche thing, you know, and there need to be, you know, reasons why you can and can't use it in different places. I mean, like, they already mentioned that heavy armor shouldn't be usable in spaceships, for instance, as in that you shouldn't be able to use heavy armor to, like, fly an M50, for instance. So I think that kind of same gameplay implication should go for, you know, the cold armor and other things as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
One thing, you definitely shouldn't be walking around a space station with your helmet on, I would
Yeah.
say. I, if nothing else, I kind of wanted to see it as a sort of social faux pas
To wear a
in
helmet
Star
and stuff.
Citizen. Yeah, to wear a helmet in an atmosphere where you don't need to. It's like you're trying to um, like separate yourself from the person you're interacting with, and that should be seen as rude.
Mm. I mean, it's going a bit far. I mean, you can't just go, "Hey, you other player, how rude!" Like there will be other
Yeah.
reasons why. I mean, like they've mentioned that, you know, oxygen as well is another survival mechanic. They've mentioned that,
Mhm.
well, right now oxygen doesn't really do anything. Like it's such a non-survival mechanic at the moment. The oxypens are barely ever used. But they've mentioned, like when we used to play Helion, for instance, like if you're in a
Mhm.
suit then with a helmet on in a spaceship, then what would be happening is that you will be depleting your spacesuit's oxygen because like the ship will no longer refill your oxygen like arbitrarily. You'll have to like find somewhere to like do that. And so if you're in a ship, you'll have to remove your helmet. Otherwise, you will burn out your OT supply.
Yeah. That was something that was alluded to a bit during the prison panel.
Right.
With because when you're forced to work off your sentence, you have to accrue merits,
Mm.
and then you go into the mine shafts, and you have to be wary about your oxygen supply.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have if you have a poor suit with a small tank, you aren't. Um, uh, it's not advisable for you to venture far out. Otherwise, you won't be able to survive. Basically, you run out before you can get any sort of good mining done, and then come back. Do you think they will keep the mechanic of refueling oxygen by just walking into an oxygen-rich environment?
So right now, what they've said about survival and oxygen is that like going into a spaceship, you will have to take your helmet off because if you don't, it'll deplete your oxygen levels like it didn't like when we played Helion. So you would have to go to an oxygen like station or whatever to refill your suit oxygen, or like just use the oxy pens to like fill your suit up and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, if maybe like a very expensive suit would have oxygen leaching capabilities, just like Origin ships have more advanced fuel scoops.
Okay.
That's actually in the lore.
Or you can
So
just use the
maybe
oxy
like if you
pens.
had
Done.
Sure, but if you just run out of everything, if you don't have any oxygen refueling station, but you are in an oxygen-rich environment for a prolonged period of time, maybe if you have one of those suits, it would slowly recharge itself instead
Sure.
of very quickly. But yeah, oxygen should be a thing that is high. That should be high on the priority list of priorities for your regular spaceman, because right now there aren't enough dangers out there, enough factors to tell you, space be dangerous.
Space be dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Space be dangerous.
So we've talked about like how the cold hazards and stuff will be
Mhm.
how will it affect the player. You have to wear the suit to survive. We didn't really
Yeah.
touch upon like how it'll affect vehicles and like your cars and your spaceships and that kind of thing as well. Like will it make it so that when a blizzard rolls by, it'll be more difficult to drive as well as fly? And also,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh. So they showed an Ursa driving just fine in in a blizzard, but it had a special skin on it.
Mm-hmm.
The doors were red.
And the tires were different.
Possibly. I'm still don't know if that's true or you're just yanking my chain. I'll have to go and double check. But, it would make sense that you would require specialized machinery, just like you need a specialized suit, you would need a specialized machinery to operate in extreme temperatures.
Right.
Because lubrication is designed to work in a certain temperature range, and you need special kind to work in cold environments. Hydraulics and pneumatics don't really like extreme temperatures and stuff like that. Sure, why not?
Why not? Because the next thing goes like, how in the when you have explorers going to like the Arctic, everything needs to kind of be purpose built for when you go there. Like, for instance, you can't just bring a pencil because it's too cold for pencils to work out there. I feel like, would that be like a minimum operating temperature for like things like the car? I mean, like, will that affect? I mean, would you think that if you were to like stumble upon a vehicle, you'd have to like wait for it to warm up or something, or like that kind of thing?
That might actually be a thing. Yeah. Well, a ship, I would guess, like a big ship, would be robust enough to survive so long as it has its power plant working and all the machinery inside generating heat. So maybe that could be also extended to cars. But yeah, it would be an interesting thing. Like if you want to have a quick getaway car, you would need to keep the power plant running, and that means it can be stealthed.
Right.
For instance. So, or on the other hand, if you wanted to be stealthily hidden, you would have to wait a bit to use it effectively because it needs to warm up. That's initially an interesting concept. Yeah.
Yeah, because they kind of showed us that with the vehicles, but what they didn't show was weapons. Like, how will the cold affect weapons?
Depends on how intricate they want to go with simulating that aspect.
Because my thought is that, so you have ballistic weapons right now and you have laser weapons. I don't know really much about like gunpowder and stuff, but like I would imagine that you would only be able to like strike it and make it fire at like certain temperatures, the same way like a that kind of thing.
No, that's not what affects it. What makes guns jam in really cold temperatures is the fact that they're made from various materials. And those materials contract and expand in heat differently. So when you build a weapon to have very tight tolerances in like a certain temperature range, when you get out of that, those tolerances change. And what basically happens is that the barrel of the gun squeezes, shrinks a lot more than the bullet, and it just wraps around the bullet, and when that fires, the bullet can't go anywhere. And poof.
So you reckon that in that case, like for a ballistic weapon in a cold environment like microtech, that might happen? So you might get misfires or weapon damage because of that? So maybe
possibly.
Yeah, maybe we might see...
With ballistics, yeah. Ballistics have more moving parts.
Yeah.
Energy weapons, maybe not so much.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's like maybe we might see people wanting to take energy weapons to things like microtech instead and have to like plan accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that happening. Yeah. And if if something is cold and you're hitting it with a laser beam, that has technically heat damage, so the difference is even greater. So maybe energy weapons would not only work in super cold environments while ballistics don't. They may actually do more damage because of that.
Maybe.
But what about other? So knives would definitely not be affected by that.
I
or
hope
any
not.
or any other sort of melee weapon. Uh,
That's true.
so maybe that's gonna, once we get that in, you know, actual effects on weapons, and we'll start getting more melee weapons, which would be nice. We currently have 2 knives in right now,
Well, we know that the Vandal
and your
like
fisticuffs.
yeah, and we know the Vandal like their weapons, the daggers, and we know the Teverin have swords
And spears.
Yeah, and spears, and the Teverin have swords, so we might see more of that stuff. Like we have blocking already, so I mean, just make an entire chivalry game out of it. Why not?
Or Mordhau.
Yeah.
But if we're getting there, we definitely need a sort of instrument to play as a bard when you're when you're running into battle. You want somebody on a space lute. Yeah, but that wouldn't work in a vacuum. Damn it.
True. I mean, in Star Citizen, it still might. You never know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just because we have that sound simulation.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but you know, if it gets really, really, really cold, you metals get brittle as well.
Okay.
So shields would be, or you know, keeping your machinery warm would be paramount to survival.
Yeah.
But this is, you know, getting really pedantic about how heat affects machinery and items and materials. So I kind of don't think that we're getting that sort of simulation in the game.
Fair enough. Like speaking of heat, though, I mean, we talked about like one end of the spectrum, like cold weather. But they've also kind of mentioned that like hot weather as well is going to also come in at the same time. So they haven't really talked about how like gear and stuff like that will come into play. Like
no, well, right, as we know, as of now, they only confirm that it is the human body that will be subjected to these extreme temperatures. On a functioning basis, we saw some frosting on the Ursa and on other ships in the demo. So they have visual confirmation that you are in a cold environment. Yeah.
Because like, how hot would it have to be for like, let's say, your gunfire to like randomly just like burn?
Well, spaceships are kind of made to survive atmospheric entry. So
not your spaceship, but like your ballistic like rifle.
Oh yeah. So we're actually talking about guns. No,
Yeah.
I thought we were going back to ships.
Oh no.
Gun. Before it starts melting, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, like.
Okay. Before a metal. Yeah. A metal when just about everything is made out of metal in Star Citizen.
Right. I'm talking about the gunpowder.
Just the gunpowder.
Yeah.
I don't care about the gunpowder. You think about gunpowder actually self-igniting?
Yes. Like if we have like a planet like Microtech at -120, we might have a planet like Ariel that might be like in the like high 80s or something.
Well, Aberdeen's going to be a prison planet. That's going to be hundreds of degrees. It's going to be like Venus.
Right.
That was confirmed during the prison gameplay panel.
Okay.
So yeah, there's going to be several hundred degrees. And when in real life we sent probes to Venus, they barely managed to survive a couple of minutes and only took maybe 1 or 2 photos and managed to send them back before everything inside melted.
Right. But was that heat or was that some other kind of exposure?
It was heat.
Just heat. Okay.
Just heat. Yeah. Well, atmospheric pressure also increases heat just because there's more stress on something. But it was basically it was heat melting. I think primarily the solder on all the circuitry.
Right.
So that so all the electronics basically just fizzled out. I think maybe physically, the probes are still there. They haven't actually melted unless they were made of lead. But I'm guessing since launching every kilogram into space is so expensive, I'm guessing those probes were made of lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question: How do you think?
Oh, yeah.
How do you think cold weather survival will differ from hot weather survival? Just in general, like in terms of like, as the player, what do you think you would be different? I mean, obviously in cold you have the like the cryo suit, right? But like, how would hot weather like survival differ with like on the other side?
Maybe a different kind of suit. Maybe the same sort of suit. Maybe actually the same suit.
Right.
Because we don't know in lore how that suit is insulating you from
outside,
from the environment, from the outside.
Yeah.
Does it actually have a power source that keeps you warm, or is it basically just because it's so bulky, it's packed with insulation, so it's a passive way of protecting you? In which case, it would also be able to it'll be also be able to protect you from the heat.
I see. I kind of
because it's basically just insulation.
Yeah.
But if it's an active type of insulation, then you would need a cold suit.
Yeah.
Something that has very high-powered air conditioning inside to keep you cool at all times.
Yeah. So we got a confirmation, by the way, about the ignition temperature for gunpowder. That's 464 Celsius. So I don't think we have to
464
worry.
degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry.
And a Venus surface temperature of 462. That's not a lot of margin for error.
That's very true. That's very true. But yeah, I mean, like, I hope that you don't have to. You won't have to wear like the cryo suit for cold survival. I mean, for like the heat survival, because we have things like the Sand Nomad suit, like the microid suit that looks like it might be developed for just that.
But that is basically just desert sort of heat. We're talking about hundreds of degrees hotter.
Okay, fair.
Oven temperatures.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. The Sand Nomads, basically, it would be maybe 50, 60 degrees Celsius.
Right. Okay. So
and then, that's supposed to be Daymar. No, it's supposed to be Lear 2, right?
Yeah, Lear 2 or
Lear 2.
Yeah, Lear 2, Daymar, but not Helmar. Like
yeah. Not Aberdeen. Yeah.
So did they explain how the heat temperature and stuff will like play into the prison gameplay?
It's basically just the way Luke Presley explained it, it's only they put the prison there because escaping there in a normal suit is a death sentence. You need to have someone there ready to get you.
Yeah.
So that is most that we got out of them officially. So a regular suit will not be able to protect you from such hot
temperatures.
Right. Such with the added convection of an atmosphere. So if it's weird in space, you can get fairly close to the sun, or a star before you start getting those effects. Which is why it's a lot hotter on Venus than it is on Mercury, even though Mercury is closer to the sun. But Mercury has no atmosphere, and Venus does. Well, it's not exactly that, but it's similar. But yes, I would like that. I would like for there to be such hot environments that you would need a special suit.
Do you think that the hot environments will also affect flying?
The actual heat itself, probably not.
Right.
Although, I mean, if you have shields up, I believe you should be able to keep the... do shields keep atmosphere out?
I don't... Actually, I don't know. I mean, like right now in Star Citizen, the room system, it doesn't work that way. There's no decompression.
No, it doesn't. No.
But it's a good question. Maybe it does. I mean, like,
Yeah. If the shields do keep atmosphere out, then basically while you have your shields on, you are in a bubble of vacuum. But the shields will change anyway to not be a bubble. There's gonna be skin forming.
I'll tell you why I don't think that shields will keep an atmosphere.
Yoga pants shields.
God damn it. Lycra shields. But I'll tell you why I don't think that the shields will keep an atmosphere, because you already have certain ships like the Teverin ships and the Cutlass Black that have the air shield tech that stop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not yours. The Idris also has those.
I imagine it would do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because it has the doors that open front and back, and you have deck crew.
Yeah, with like the half masks.
So those shields are a specific type of shields just for that, and then you have the regular shields outside that protect you from energy and ballistic damage. Possibly the plasma generated when entering an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But but can't be really combined into the same thing, maybe.
Yeah. So we talked about. Sorry, you breathed. What were you gonna say?
Nope. I was just breathing because I was talking for a long time and I was running out of air in my lungs.
All right. So we talked about.
What are you talking about?
I forgot now. We talked about heat and like how temperature will affect the player. But we didn't really talk about weather in general. Like yeah. Like I imagine like the player will die if it's too cold or whatever. Die it's too hot. But like, what if it's too stormy? Like, what if like if you're flying through like say Daymar and there's like a sandstorm, will that affect your ship? That be a survival thing? Like you have to watch out for sandstorms. You did in the Sandworm Layer 3 thing, didn't you?
Yeah. They had atmospheric conditions that prevented you from flying to your destination. So you had to land and drive. So I'm guessing for ships that's definitely a thing, because the spaceships are designed to fly in a vacuum.
Yeah,
and they're already encumbered quite a lot by still atmospheres. But if you got like a hurricane or something like that, yeah.
Oh my god! I just remembered what that sandstorm looked like on Lear. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Like,
I do.
Compare that.
I remember how it kept repeating. The little sprites kept repeating.
But it was big, and it was like looming, and it was coming, and you could see it. Whereas, like right now, I mean, like we don't have dynamic weather in Microtech just yet. I can't wait to see that. Now
and volumetric stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, looking forward to that. Sorry, I just got like a minor hype buzz there.
Yeah. When do you think we'll see volumetric clouds and fog?
Well, Ben Parry, like one of the big whizzes,
one of the big kahunas at CIG. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's engine guru. I think.
So he's been working a lot on things like the volumetric cloud looks and stuff within jump points. I think now that that's pretty much almost done, he can now focus more on that with the rest of their team. So soon. Like I remember at one BlizzCon, like they called him Mr. Cloud. So I think he's been working on that stuff for a while. We'll see.
Yeah, and judging from what we saw of the nebulas around, well, I don't know if it's all jump points that have nebulas, or if it's that specific jump point that just happens to be inside a nebula. But the way it was presented and the way it looked, it was fantastic. Yes, I can't wait to see more of that.
I guess they put it in a nebula because otherwise it'd be just dull. It'd just be a gate.
It'd be perfect way to show off the new volumetric cloud tech as well.
That's true. It was good to have it there. But the reason why they did it is because it'll always be dull.
Yeah, it's true. I'm guessing a lot of these will be dull.
Mm.
You just arrive there, and it's a couple of stations, and the infrastructure to support it, and that's that.
Yeah. All right.
What were we talking about before you remembered what the Lear 3 sandstorm looked like?
I was just asking about how do you think weather effects will affect ships?
Oh, right, yeah.
Mm.
I think, yeah, it'll definitely be a lot harder to fly, just because it depends on the atmospheric pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Like on Mars, you have 1% atmospheric pressure compared to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And you have storms with winds of 100+ kilometers an hour, but you wouldn't really feel it that much just because there's so little pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of the things I disliked about the movie The Martian the most, because none of that would have happened.
Happen in Hollywood. That's all that matters.
Yes, but is Star Citizen closer to Hollywood or closer to real life?
Is this Chris Roberts we're talking about? I think
And
really
he was in
cool takes
Hollywood.
precedent, and he was Hollywood. He's still very much a Hollywood man.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But anyway, if we're talking stuff like Lear 3, which is an Earth-like planet, or Microtech.
Yeah.
Severe storms would make it a lot more difficult to navigate in a ship.
What about the type of storm?
Oh, right. So right now, the only one I talked about was basically just wind shear type of storm. Well, what other types of storms are there? I think
sandy storms that you shell sandy crap into your intakes and poops you up.
Interesting. Although, would sand be ballistic enough, like close enough to a bullet to be stopped by shields?
Probably not. It might be too fine. It just go through the ship. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, how did that javelin crash in the Layer 3 demo? I guess
because a javelin doesn't have thrusters strong enough to fight the gravitational pull.
So why did the javelin get there in the first place? I mean, you would think they wouldn't have an idiot flying the ship.
That is a good question.
It's a random backer.
A good question. Just a random idiot backer, yeah. Probably a test squadron member.
True. He mistook the planet for his sun.
Yeah. But yeah, Javelin does not have landing gear, unlike the Idris.
Yeah.
It doesn't have articulating thrusters for VTOL. So yeah, they are lore-wise, they are advised to stay away from gravity wells of planets just because they can't escape.
Right. So you think that shields should be enough to protect you from the sand and sandstorm?
Possibly, yeah.
Right.
I think they're still developing different types of shields. So, shields that are better against like energy weapons wouldn't be so good against ballistic. But no, that's incorrect. Shields are always good against energy weapons. You need armor to fight against ballistics. Yeah, that is why armor is in the game.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question that I have absolutely no idea how to answer.
Yeah, we got a really interesting question in chat actually from Cyrolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ask, would lightning storms affect modules in on your ship? In a lightning strike, for instance. Let's say you're in a nebula where there's storms. There's lightning even in nebulas. So would a lightning strike from that mess your ship up? Would you need then I was thinking, would you need an exploration shield or something that's more protective against that kind of stuff to go through nebulas?
I don't know, but we do have confirmation from the Squadron 42 vertical slice that electromagnetic interference does have wonky effects on your MFDs and everything.
Right, yeah.
Don't know about exactly how a ship would fare against a direct lightning strike, although in the same demo we saw... No, that wasn't the demo, it was in the trailer. Just like a throwaway scene, the Bengal carrier was struck by lightning in the nebula and was fine.
Right.
Although a Gladius might be a completely different story.
I mean, cars get struck by lightning. Now I'm thinking about it. Cars get struck by lightning, don't they? They're fine. They got the Faraday effect.
Well, they are Faraday cages.
Yeah.
They're Faraday cages. They're designed to protect the occupants, but the electronics are completely fried.
Oh, okay.
In the process. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. All right, interesting. Because in the
planes, on the other hand, are designed to survive lightning strike because all the electronics are separated from the Faraday cage of the main fuselage.
Because I was thinking about shields, like in the pre-show, we were talking about like how weather affect, how like heat would affect different ships, because some ships are even like designed, like the Starfarer, for instance, is designed to scoop like gases near like the coronas of stars. So would that ship be more protected? And you were like, well, maybe its shields are the thing that protected. So then I was thinking, what if you had like a fight between two ships that close to a star, and then one ship like took down the other one's shields? Would that other guy be completely screwed?
I believe that is a completely legitimate fighting strategy. Just take the other guy's shields and have the star melt him.
Exactly. Oh, man.
But, in that case, who gets the killing blow and who gets the bounty? How do you give 2,000 UEC to the star?
I'm sorry, sir, under arrest. Yeah, I don't know if this...
How do you handcuff a star?
With difficulty. Or with a Dyson sphere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I think that's more house arrest.
Truth.
Oh, jeez.
All right, so
it's actually when it comes to dust and sand, possibly if you have an Aurora or a basic ship, maybe it's not designed to withstand such things, but a more advanced, more robust ship would be. Possibly. Lightning strikes. So lightning strike, when it comes to planes, doesn't do that much damage because it just uses it as a conductor to then continue flowing downwards into the ground. In space, though, you have a region of a charged region, and then a ship. Okay, this is just completely out of my ass. You have a region of charged particles, and you have a ship, and then the charge wants to go towards the ship, but it goes into the ship and doesn't use it as a conductor to go somewhere else. The ship is the target. So when all that charge hits your ship, what happens then? That's actually a good question. Yeah.
Right.
Like a Bengal carrier might have machinery and circuitry designed to possibly even capture that energy and charge up its batteries.
Maybe.
Or maybe it just somehow dissipates it back out into space. But a Gladius, an Aurora, kind of strikes me as being quite vulnerable to those things.
Probably. I guess we'll have to wait and see with that one.
We'll have to a lot of things we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, and yes, Terran Civi batteries recharged. It's possible because in the Ares brochure, they now have a battery item listed.
Okay. Interesting.
Which I think we should save that bit of information for another discussion, but that is actually, it's giving me ideas what that could be used for.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, so we've talked about survival suits. What about gear?
Yeah.
Like gear, consumables. Do you have any ideas for like what kind of stuff could they add, if anything, to that experience?
Medipens that save you from frostbite.
That yeah.
That is something that was sorely missing from the Citizen Countdown.
Yeah, his hands went black.
The dude was walking around in 120 relative not relative, apparent temperature. So yeah, it even had a counter till death, which was about 4 minutes. So you can tell that it's a quite a substantial environmental hazard. But yeah, as soon as he got into out of that, I think frostbite would have left him with quite a fewer digits.
Yeah, I feel like even though he didn't die, I think, yeah, if you're like that close to death, maybe there might be like a lasting status effect that needs treatment with like a Medipen or something. You know, like how in the Expanse, they have like the anti-cancer stuff. Like it's just like,
oh yeah,
no cancer, no frostbite, that kind of thing.
Or since it's more less on a cellular, it's less on a cellular. Oh my god, we found another word I can't pronounce.
What is it? What is it? Tell me.
It's less on a cellular level.
Cellular.
But it's, yes, but it's more of a actual fingers dying. That would probably require a trip to the Medibay.
Can you say
instead of just
the imaginary menagerie manager manages an imaginary menagerie?
The imaginary menagerie manager manages. Oh my god, I don't actually know what I'm supposed to say, but I can pronounce it. An imaginary menagerie manager manages an imaginary menagerie.
Yes.
So once I actually realized what I had to say, it's good. No, it's cellular. It's R's and L's.
And R's. R is.
Yeah.
I think English is one of the only languages in the world that uses R's. The way your tongue like gets jammed in the back of your head.
Yeah, yeah.
R.
Yeah, it's also, to go on a complete tangent. It's the English people. The English people are right now developing a new way of pronouncing the R sound, which is more of a W. Which you have like Wossie. Wossie, yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, he has a very...
You mean Jonathan Ross?
Jonathan Ross, yes.
Yeah.
And Tom Scott also does it. They use the like slight variation of the W sound to do the R, which is completely understandable. But yes, they use it they pronounce it with the lips instead of the tongue.
Yeah.
So for them, it would probably be a lot easier to pronounce that, just because they don't have to contort their tongue in such a rapid succession. But anyway, how the fuck did we get here? Tongue survival.
You were talking about how Medipens and stuff will work on the cellular level.
Cellular level. Yeah. Probably Medipens won't work. And medical gameplay will have to start getting a lot more intricate. Possibly a topic for another show on how we'd like to see medical gameplay develop in the future.
Probably for after they flesh out that design document for medical gameplay.
Yes. Maybe we should really leave it until then. Yeah.
So what other like gear do you think they would add? Because right now we have the suit, that protects against. Yeah. Like what about a Swiffer to like kind of remove the freaking like water drops of your freaking face every like 5 seconds?
No, I think just every helmet should come with wipers. Yeah. Instead of you just have one of the buttons on the keyboard, mapped to that.
Like in Metro. Oh, yeah.
What do they do in Metro? Oh, he just wipes it with his hand. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, but Metro Last Light is a very focused game, so I'm guessing they can.
New gameplay loop.
What?
Clean your helmet for you, sir.
Oh my god! You come to a rest stop, and then on your mobi-glass you have repair, refuel, restock, and wipe down. Then you get one of the people comes up with a jetpack all the way up to the canopy and just goes.
I swear some ships need that. I'm looking at you, Drake. Like something wrong with those canopies, I swear. But yeah.
other gear to handle. Do you think a drug would be able to help you survive more
like a stim
extreme
or
temperatures?
something, maybe. But I
Yeah.
mean, you might still. I mean, that like maybe might give you like a minute or two in those extreme temperatures more. I don't think it'd be anything, before you can find like one of those like suits. But I don't think anything else really.
Yeah. Uh, Shelters, we already have shelters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of the room system, where you can, take cover and then warm up and then continue
Yeah.
or cool off.
I'm sure they'll think of like
But
consumables,
yeah, I think that would actually fit very well with the medical gameplay, like different consumables having buffs and debuffs. Like if it helps you survive in heat or in radiation. Oh, that's another one we haven't touched upon, like radiation
Yeah.
hazards.
The future of survival, because it's something that they haven't really touched upon yet, but something that
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there could be nebulas where there's a lot of radiation. There's Van Allen belts around planets with particularly strong magnetic fields.
Person Dynamics
So-
is a weapons testing zone for. I mean, uses their own planet and their moons as a weapons testing zones for their antimatter bombs. So maybe there's radiation there.
But yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it could be. Do we know? Is Aberdeen an old radiation site that just got completely destroyed from their weapons testing?
I mean, like someone needs to ask the lore team why there are trees there, because perhaps they tried to terraform it, they failed, and so they're like, bomb it, and then they use it for bombing.
Just target practice.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why Aberdeen's like that.
Yeah, we should get a Will Weisbaum on the show, because there's almost every show we come up with questions that we don't know the answers to, but maybe the lore people do.
Right. And so other than radiation, and obviously you just like require different gear and that kind of thing, and then that might be when you do need the what's it called again, the Oncodinol or whatever it is, like the
yeah.
But I guess moving on to like the broader sphere of like survival, one thing we haven't touched upon is EVA fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, because that definitely needs to be a thing. Because right now you can you can, if the server's stable enough, you can traverse the verse using just your EVA suit.
Yeah, I really hope they decouple like EVA at some point. But yeah.
Oh, decoupled EVA would be very nice as well. Yeah, I mean they already have the system in play. You wouldn't even have to get a new button; just press V.
Yeah. The amount of people that will just like splat themselves onto ships because they won't slow down in time would be amazing.
And I'm completely fine with that.
There was a time, like a 2-point-something patch, where you could sprint in EVA and actually go those speeds. But the issue is that like the player models, when they're unconscious, are actually physicalized, and so people would using their bodies to dive bomb Port Olisar and blow up ships.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you can still sprint in EVA now.
Okay.
Sprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do this while you're going forward, it's not gonna help.
Yeah.
But shift does make you go faster. EVA fuel has, yes, like I said before, space be dangerous, and your supplies are limited, and that needs to be somehow more emphasized in Star Citizen. When you're on a ship, I think you should be fine. You should be out of worry, but every time you step out, you should be always conscious that you are in a hazardous environment that the human body is not designed for, and you have limited supplies, limited oxygen, limited EVA fuel. Definitely. And the big one as well, food.
Oh yeah, I mean this was. Go on.
I don't know how I feel about that one though. Because
So
I have nothing but bad experience from other survival games when it comes to food. Because all you have to do is look for food, and eat food, and you have barely any time to do anything else.
But yeah, that's where CIG I feel differs. When Todd Pappy mentioned like eating, he was like the time frame he gave was 6 hours of gameplay before you would need to eat. You know, that's way more time. You know, 6 hours of gameplay. Not even like you log off, you log back in, and you will log on starving. It's 6 hours of being in the game. So I don't think it's really an issue there. And you know, like other devs before that as well. And again, they have these massive meetings together, and nothing is set in stone, but it's just the general kind of vibe that they were giving at the time. And it was that if you are a citizen standing in Area 18 in ArcCorp, you as a player shouldn't need to eat even after the 6 hours, because it stands to reason your player isn't just going to starve to death next to a burrito stand. So like it'll only come into play when you're in deep space.
You eat through osmosis.
Yes, yeah. Breathe it in. But like yeah, so I think that survival gameplay regarding food would only like come into play in deep space or like on a deserted planet. But within like stations and stuff, you wouldn't need to.
Sure, yeah. And also, if you are stuck on, for instance, Leader 3 in the desert of Leader 3, consuming liquid might be a higher priority than just normal. Like food would remain at 6 hours, but liquids, you would be much more accelerated just because you're losing so much due to the heat.
Yeah. And even the 6 hours they gave was like more like to keep yourself topped up, with like whatever food benefits that there are. It might be like 3 days of gameplay before you actually die of exposure, which I think is better than, having to eat every 20 seconds in Atlas. Stupid game.
Yeah. It would also make sense that if you go past those 6 hours, you start feeling the effects. Your stamina starts dropping.
Yes, exactly.
Because yeah. But for the 6 hour grace period, it should be just on peak efficiency.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah. But yeah. I saw something in chat, but I think I missed it. Oh yeah, there we go.
I saw something. Yeah.
There was a question.
Go for it.
Byron Farrell asked a question regarding like EVA suit fuel. He said, "I thought EVA fuel was the air listed under suit currently, wherein you have a lot of O2, but some gets set aside for breathing." No, so EVA fuel and your suit air are completely different things in Star Citizen. And your suit air is literally, so how the breathing system works right now is you have a tank, and that tank is somewhere invisible on your suit for now, and that feeds into your suit. So you have 2 bars. One is your suit bar. If you sprint around, you'll slowly deplete the amount of air in your suit until like you're exhausted and you have to wait for it to like refuel. And then the main bar kind of like reduces as it fills the suit back up. It has nothing to do with your EVA fuel.
And you wouldn't want to use oxygen as a propellant anyway. 1, it's precious for breathing, and 2, there are gases that can be compressed a lot more and can be used for propellant more efficiently, like not LOX, whatever RCS is right now.
Hydrogen?
That's more efficient.
Or nitro?
No, that would go boom. I think it could be nitrogen based.
I mean,
I don't know. It's
in
stuff
Helion,
that
it's
the
nitro.
space shuttle.
Yeah.
It's the stuff the space shuttle uses. The stuff that the SpaceX Dragon capsule uses.
Nitrox, is that it? The mixture of nitrogen and oxygen. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
don't know much about it. Somebody in either chat or the YouTube comments are going to be like, "You idiots!"
Yeah. If we had Nakara in chat right now, he would be able to correct us. I think he's one of those people that knows all of those things. I try to stay on top, but no. Even though I'm wearing a NASA hoodie right now, it does not increase my intelligence.
He's wearing the NASA hoodie of the layman.
It's a Goddard hoodie. That could be it. Maybe if I got like a Kennedy one, that would work more.
All right.
All right. I think, yeah, we're finally getting survival mechanics, and I'm looking forward to them because, yeah, space isn't dangerous enough as it is in Star Citizen.
Yeah. Looking forward to becoming a little bit more challenging to play in Star Citizen. You know, I feel because we have so much diversity within Stanton, like they could easily like just center the entire game around it. But obviously, it's cool that they're adding more things to it. You know, like more planets, more systems.
Yep.
Mm.
So, have we exhausted this topic for tonight?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
For those watching on Twitch, after we finish signing off here, we'll probably stick around and
Yeah.
you know, talk a bit more about all this stuff as well.
And for those of you listening on SoundCloud and watching on YouTube, this is why you should come watch us live on Twitch. Anyway, Myre.
Thank you for watching another episode
Yes,
of
out.
the Fortnightly Frontier. This has been season 7, episode 3. I've been Myre, and we'll see you soon. Yeah.
You guess. Bye, everyone.